Hello and welcome to an overview of MYOB Greentree and the WebView module. To start off, what is WebView? WebView is best described as a web-based connection to the Greentree database. So this gives you real-time access to Greentree. This can be broken down further into a couple of areas, which we'll then go on to explore in more detail. Inquiries. So this could either be for internal staff who do not need access to Greentree on a regular basis but are running the same set of inquiries each month or on a semi-regular basis, or it may be for staff that are remote workers. For example, some kind of service technician or salespeople that are on the road a lot. The second part of WebView is for financial reporting. So while the financial reports are still set up in Greentree, these can be run via WebView over the secure internet connection. This allows people who are not office-based, management, department heads, budget holders, do not need a Greentree login and can access it via WebView, so they could be in a remote area, for example. More functionality exists in the Reports and Documents library, which is an extension to WebView. So on that first one, inquiries. Principally these are based on inquiries that are set up through the Explorer functionality within Greentree. You can inquire on any part of Greentree and have multiple inquiries on one screen. We'll show you some examples shortly, but things like a general ledger account inquiry, followed by some job costing inquiries, followed again by looking up some CRM details, all within one screen, accessing different modules of Greentree at any one time. Access can also be given to customers and suppliers, this giving them a certain element of what could be called self-service, for them to view where their purchase order is, where their sales order is, what the stock on hand might be of a given set of stock items. Okay, so let's look at the inquiries and look at some examples. So if I now log into WebView, it's my login screen. If I now log into WebView, go into the company. This is a multi-company environment. So I can choose which company I'm going into. This is the equivalent of my workflow desk that has been presented to me. If I go up here to a menu structure, you can see that I have quite a bit of access here to look all across Greentree, different inquiries that have been set up. General ledger, customers, stock inquiries, job costing, CRM, etc. I'm just going to choose one to go into. If I go into job cost, I'll go into all jobs. This is then presenting me with an inquiry. I can filter out my name, my job type and status. These are entirely configurable. This is just an example of how you could do it. Obviously with any kind of inquiry, the more prescribed you make it, the quicker it'll be. I'm just going to leave that all blank and bring it back all the jobs. Here's a list of my jobs in my system, so again, real-time data. These represent drill downs. So from here I can drill down further. This is giving me a picture of my jobs in terms of the hours, costs and budget. I'm going to go further into this job here, which presents to me what I've configured, but more detailed information about this job. My cost summary, a little graph as to what's going on, any sub-jobs or child jobs that I might have, purchases, materials, sales invoices, and any attachments that might be sitting on the job. So the next level down again that I've set up here to drill down on is my sales invoices. You'll notice this here is highlighted. So if I click on this invoice number here, for example, it's presenting me with a copy of that invoice. Fairly bland invoice in this example, but it gives a demonstration of how I can drill back to the original transaction. Let's take another angle. If I was to go into customer, my customer inquiry, again, this is what's been set up. I can filter by either the name or the address. I'm just going to look for everything here. This is listing up all my customers that I have in my system. Again, these represent a drill down. Go into this customer, and again, here's the inquiry that I've set up for bits of information that I'm looking up for this customer. This one is presenting quite a lot of information presented back to me, my contacts, my communications if I'm using CRM, and so forth. What outstanding sales orders there are, all the items I've bought, or all the items that this customer hasn't bought in the last 12 months. Any jobs, invoices for this customer, etc. There's quite a bit on this. Again, this invoice is drilled down. Click on that invoice. Okay, it's telling me what I've bought, because obviously there's multiple lines here. So it could be inventory, there could be some GL, depending on the organisation. If I go on that invoice again, it presents me with a copy of that invoice that was sent to that customer. I logged on as Super here. And I've got presented all these inquiries that I've set up, but this is entirely configurable. So different users can have different inquiries and different sets of access as to where they came in. So in that last slide I presented, I talked about customers or suppliers, or both, having access to WebView, and therefore having an element of self-service. So here's how that's set up, and therefore what it looks like in WebView. I'm going to come into that same customer that I just briefly looked at earlier. I'm going to call that customer up. What you'll notice now is there's a WebView tab. In my WebView tab, I'm stating whether I'm allowing this customer web access or WebView access. I can therefore set up the username, the password, and what menu they come into. When I logged in as Super there, you saw I had quite a long menu. So that menu is entirely configurable. So now, if I log on as that user, Kangan, you'll see I have a much reduced menu list there. I come into that stock inquiry because that's the only access I've got. Again, this kind of the search criteria at the top is configurable. I'm just going to look at everything. This again is giving me real-time information. So this might be relevant for the customer because then they can see what stock is available. If I go into this is telling me where the stock might be available, what purchase orders are outstanding, what sales orders are outstanding. In this instance, you probably wouldn't present all the sales orders and state who the customer was, but it's an example of what you could do. Likewise with pricing, you're unlikely to give a customer different pricing options there, but you may do. There might be some price breaks there that you want to demonstrate. But what you have got, you've also got the ability to show the attachments that are on that, in this instance, in this example, the stock item. Click on the photo, and there's the image of that item. So the customer can check that they're actually buying the right stock item. A customer, of course, could also come in and potentially see their balance, or a supplier might come in and see when their invoices are getting paid, because these are just inquiry-only screens. Okay, the second part of WebView that I'm going to cover is the aspect of financial reporting. So this is the ability to create financial reports that can be run and then viewed through WebView, meaning you've got real-time financial data, and this can be viewed anytime, anywhere. So you don't need to be logged into Greentree to run the financial reports, or if you were just a department head or a budget holder or a profit center manager. Please see the accompanying video that covers a separate topic of the Reports and Documents library to see how this functionality of running the financial reports can be enhanced even further. So running the financial reports within WebView. So I've logged on to WebView here, and our menu under my General Ledger, Financial Reports, and I'm just going to choose this one here, Profit and Loss, Month to Date, Year to Date Variance, kind of standard profit and loss report. But these are all set up within Greentree, so you can have as many of these as you like and kind of call them what you like as well. I'm going to run this one. So this could be for a simple department manager and its profit and loss for the month. I've got a period end date. Depending on how my security is set up and who I actually am, might apply to this stage. I've either got running it against a different budget or a forecast. So all I'm now going to do is select Run Now. I've run that report previously, so it's just warning me on that. The profit and loss is then displayed. Fairly standard looking profit and loss. So I can come down, depending on how this report is configured, down to my account level here and see what my month and year to date numbers are. So this is allowing me to run my profit and loss outside of Greentree, but also running it as real-time data. So if I'm working remotely in a different time zone, I can still run this whenever I like. What you'll notice here, I can save these, and it can set to expire if I so wish. Also, I can export these. I can put them to an Excel format or into a PDF format. I may like to make some notes, read the numbers in terms of a printed form. So that's running the financial reports or a multiple set of financial reports from a WebView connection. And that concludes my overview of MYOB Greentree and the WebView module. I hope you found it useful, and thanks for your time.